This is a picture from Coors and I-40. You can see snow covering the road. This is the same area that was a nightmare during yesterday morning's commute. You can see cars are moving along right now, but not a whole lot out there. Well, we're hearing from the state DOT this morning about severe and difficult driving conditions throughout Bernalillo County, up I-25 and into Santa Fe. Crews are out putting down salt and cinder. We're also seeing severe driving conditions with snow-packed and icy roads in much of Sandoval County. That's including US 550. Give yourself extra time if you're heading out on the roads this morning. Now, this is round 2 of weather. The first round caused big problems for travelers on I-40. The interstate looking more like a demolition derby yesterday morning. State and city crews working all day to clear up this latest wintry mix, with more in store for today. They're trying to avoid a repeat of yesterday's bumper-to-bumper morning traffic. This is what I-40 and Coors looked like during yesterday's commute. Cars backed up for miles.
The visibility wasn't very good. Couldn't see very far. It felt like I was driving in North Dakota.
It was terrible. I've been in traffic for 2 hours.
APD says it's responded to more than 120 crashes yesterday during the day. More than 20 of those involved injuries. It also kept Albuquerque tow truck drivers very busy. The icy roads are being blamed for the death of an airman from Holloman Air Force Base. The airman was traveling on Highway 54 near Vaughn when he lost control on Thursday night and ran head-on into a semi-truck carrying cattle. The sheriff says he was on his way to visit his family out of state. The airman's name has not been released. The semi-truck driver was not seriously hurt, and neither were the cattle. Accidents forced people to abandon their vehicles yesterday. Simply put, there were not enough officers to go out and take reports. That resulted in cars littering roads across the city on the interstate highways and side roads. We called road crews and police to find out what will be done with all of these cars. The city says if they're not impeding traffic, they'll leave them there until the weather clears. If they are, they'll be towed. Tow truck companies say they've towed hundreds of cars and trucks since Thursday night just in the city alone. And up in Santa Fe, snowplows started salting and cindering early last night to clear roads for the morning. Evening commuters were stranded yesterday after police say a female driver rolled her truck 182 feet onto the train tracks near the 599 exit. She was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Emergency crews responded to nearly 30 accidents in the area. To the west of Albuquerque, snow fell through much of yesterday, making driving on I-40 dicey.
Well, we've had about 3 to 4 inches out that direction, a lot of ice, so it gets pretty slick.
Wind chills paired with snow off and on overnight made for a very cold and icy night. It was already below freezing in that area by 5 yesterday evening, keeping firewood stands alongside the road busy all day. Southeastern New Mexico has not been spared in these storms, much of the area picking up 3 to 5 inches of snow. Many school districts called off class. Hobbs police say it's certainly turning out to be a busy winter for them.
I've been here 15 years, and some winters we'll get a couple of snowstorms, and this time we've had several, 6 or 7 at this point.
We are tracking this storm closely. We'll have more coming up on the wintry weather and icy roads on KRQE News 13 this morning. You can also find the latest road conditions and an interactive weather map at krqe.com. A woman who helped 2 inmates escape an Arizona prison, then kill a couple in New Mexico, will be sentenced next week. Under a plea deal, Caslin Welch will serve 20 years on an escape charge and 2 counts of robbery. The time will run concurrently to her 40-year sentence in a federal murder case that stemmed from her time on the run. Welch helped John McCluskey and Tracy Province escape prison by throwing cutting tools over a fence. The 2 men later carjacked and murdered Gary and Linda Haas of Oklahoma. Their bodies were found in their burned trailer near Santa Rosa. McCluskey and Province are both serving life sentences. Welch will be sentenced Wednesday. Albuquerque police have arrested a man accused of stabbing his wife at an apartment complex. It started at 2:30 yesterday morning near Unser and Ladera. Police say the woman was treated for numerous slash wounds. The SWAT team arrived where they found the suspect, 48-year-old Paul Villanueva, locked inside his apartment. After a long standoff, police took him into custody. Police say a 36-year-old man went on a killing spree after finding his mother dead inside her southern Missouri home. The man killed 7 people and injured a woman before taking his own life. Josh Marshall has more.
There's not much to hide in this small town.
It's all that's left of Tyrone after many, many years.
Nearly everyone knew Joseph Aldridge, including a neighbor who knew some details about his life.
He may have had a problem with drugs. I know financially in this area, this is a really depressed financial area.
Afraid of retaliation in the small town, a neighbor didn't go on camera, but explains why the nature of Aldridge's hometown may have contributed to 7 murders and a suicide.
I knew he was looking for a job, and I think the stress caught up with him and pressures, and he just lost it.
Police are still searching for what motivated Aldridge to kill 7 people, including 4 of his family members, leaving his surviving family questioning why.
Dee was my cousin, and Wayne was my cousin.
That was Josh Marshall reporting. Let's take a live look at cores from I-40. As Chris mentioned, the snow is still coming down. It's blanketing the road there. Drivers moving along at a good pace, but the snow doesn't appear to be letting up. Well, winter weather has made interstate driving across the state a mess. Police warning anyone to stay off the roads during this storm. Take a look at this. I-25 during the evening commute yesterday. Pretty clear of snow at that time. That's when our crews caught a crash at San Mateo. Then onto the new flyover at Paseo and I-25, which by the looks of it did not stand up to its first big winter test. Here's the difference. Just a little more than an hour after rush hour, northbound on I-25 towards the Big I was dicey. People traveling to Albuquerque on I-40 East passed cars on the side of the interstate. And then this, a jackknifed semi, and moving into town near Coors, a car sitting on its side. Late last night near the 6th Street exit from I-40, a pickup truck slid into a barrier, and in slow motion here, a van slides around the truck, barely missing it. Last night, APD responded to so many crashes, they asked the public to not call if it's just a fender bender. Now let's take a live look at NM roads this morning. The state DOT warning about severe and difficult driving conditions throughout Bernalillo County, up I-25 into Santa Fe. Crews are out putting down salt and cinder. We're also seeing severe driving conditions with snow-packed and icy roads in much of Sandoval County. That includes US 550. Give yourself some extra time if you're heading out on the roads this morning. This storm is slowing down things at the Sunport. Arriving flights from Denver and Dallas are delayed, and some departing flights to Dallas canceled. Well, people in the metro are waking up to a snow-covered city. This is Johnson Field at UNM last night. The lights showing how fast the snow is coming down. The weather caused problems for those who ventured out to Nob Hill. Some stopped to help a driver who got stuck near Central and University.
We were just passing by and she wasn't moving, so we just got down and decided to help her. She got stuck in the ice, and while we were trying to push it, just push it out of the way this way so we can get her out of the traffic and all that.
By the looks of it, most people opted to stay in rather than drive into downtown in Nob Hill last night. And this is what Rio Rancho looked like overnight. The snow coming down, also covering roads. This is at 528 and West Side, about an inch of snow blanketing the intersection. Well, this is round 2 of the wintry weather. Because of round 1, APS students got a snow day. As you can see from Sky News 13, they were taking advantage of it. We caught kids out sledding and tubing near Montano and Unser just minutes after APS canceled classes. The kids will have to make up this snow day. That's because the only snow day built into the school calendar has already passed, so the makeup day has been tentatively set for after Memorial Day. There's been controversy in the past because most kids don't show up for the makeup anyway. Up in Santa Fe, snowplows started salting and cindering early last night to clear roads for the morning. Evening commuters were stranded yesterday after police say a female driver rolled her truck 182 feet onto the train tracks near the 599 exit. She was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Emergency crews responded to nearly 30 accidents in the area. The rollover delayed train commuters for hours. This man's brother was stuck on the rail runner somewhere between Albuquerque and Santa Fe.
We flew into Albuquerque, but we didn't want to go pick him up because the traveling was so bad. We figured the train was the best way.
Many we talked to told us they'd spend the night in Santa Fe rather than risk traveling. A typical 30-minute drive from Los Lunas to Albuquerque took some drivers an hour and a half at the peak of yesterday's morning rush hour. I-25 was a sheet of ice for miles, so drivers were taking it slow and at times not moving at all. Well, areas west of Albuquerque got a good coating yesterday as well. Heavy, wet flakes flew for much of the day. While the snow and ice can be a pain, it does make for some beautiful photographs of our state. Here's News 13's Jessica Garate.
Who Needs Sunshine? An Albuquerque family says it was the perfect day to visit the zoo. They checked out cold weather animals loving the temps, and there were only 6 other people there. Andy Martinez enjoyed horseback riding in 3 Rivers. But it wasn't a day for golf. This is the Albuquerque Country Club golf course. And you probably wouldn't want to ride a motorcycle in this cold, even though Gloria Gallegos spotted a biker near Las Vegas. A road runner in Albuquerque wanted to check out the snow that covered flamingos in Rio Rancho, deer in Los Alamos, and a dog named Jack in Portales. Up north, inches turned to a foot of snow in Romeroville and Trujillo. But all that snow makes for some amazing winter photos.
That was Jessica Garate. Stay with News 13 for the latest on this wintry weather, both on air and online at KRQE.com. With just 2 hours to spare, Congress passed a bill that will keep the Department of Homeland Security funded for just a week. The House overwhelmingly approved the Senate measure so the department does not run out of money. Representatives earlier defeated a plan to extend funding for 3 weeks because conservative Republicans wanted the bill to include provisions to block President Obama's executive action on immigration. Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi promised full funding for the next few months would follow soon. Officials say the man seen in ISIS's gruesome murder videos has been identified. Now we're learning more about his background. Clarissa Ward reports.
For 6 months, he was the masked face of terror. But now the world has seen the real face of Mohammed Emwazi. This photograph was taken in 2006 with Emwazi wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates baseball cap while he was at Westminster University. You can see the distinctive eyes that would become so recognizable. It's a very different picture from the smiling schoolboy of 10 years old when he talked on his yearbook page about wanting to be a soccer player. He said he loved video games and French fries. University records show a competent, if unexceptional, student. With a degree in business management and computers, he might have had a successful career. But when he finished his studies, his life took a very different path. In 2009, Emwazi flew to Tanzania for what he said was a safari holiday. He was stopped by British intelligence who believed he was actually heading to Somalia to join the terrorist group Al-Shabaab. In court documents obtained by the BBC, Emwazi's name appears in connection to another Somali terror case in 2011. He was believed to be part of a network of London extremists involved in the provision of funds and equipment to Somalia for terrorism-related purposes.
So Farhan, how do you feel, bruv? How do you feel we took you off?
The documents also link Emwazi to Bilal Berjawi, another British citizen who went to fight with Al-Shabaab and Al-Qaeda in Somalia in 2009 and was killed in a drone strike 3 years later.
That was Clarissa Ward reporting.